Do you wanna know how to draw basic forms such as sphere, cube, or pyramid? Congratulations, this video is made for you.
First off, you need to know the elements and principles of arts and design to be able to understand how art works. One such element is the value, which is the lightness or darkness of a hue or color. It is used to understand how form works and to create the illusion of form. The form we're talking about is also an element of art that focuses on the height, the width, and depth of an object, which is simply refers to as the three-dimensionality. So, we use values to create form or the illusion of being 3D. Now that you know what value and form is, another thing you should know are the differences between a form and a shape. A shape is simply a flat surface, having the length and width but without depth, unlike a form. So to speak, we use value on shapes to create form. Like for example, a sphere is the form counterpart of a circle, cube for square, and pyramid for triangle.
Now, I'm gonna demonstrate how to draw basic forms. First on the list is a circle. What you gonna do is draw a circle. It doesn't need to be perfect at first, just move your arm together with your pencil on a circular manner. Now that you've got yourself a circle, next thing you should do is darken the lines to emphasize the main circle. Use the scribbled lines to guide you draw a perfect circle. Continue doing this until you have emphasized the entire circle, after which you will erase the rough lines and refine the circle. Clear out any excess so you can clearly see it. And now that you have a perfect and clean circle, you should decide where will the light come from, because your shading and shadows will depend on your source of light. I put a little sun on the upper right corner to indicate where the light is originating from. Turning your circle into a sphere means that there will be highlights or the lighter areas and shadows, which are the darker ones. You can also put a reference to test this. Put a ball under a lamp or any source of light and see where the light bounces off and how the ball casts its shadow. Here is the example. There are multiple levels of values you should know when you draw a sphere or any forms. The lightest one is the highlight, and this is where the light directly hits the form and bounces off of it. Next is the midtone, which is the middle value next to the highlight. Then you've got the area of the core shadow, where the value is usually the darkest on the form. Another one is the reflected highlight, where the light is bouncing back off of objects that surrounds the form. And last is the cast shadow, where light is prevented from hitting because the form blocks the source of light. Next is the shading process, which was already shown on the video. As you should probably know by now, there are different types of shading techniques. You can choose what you want to use on your drawings. The value of shading will also depend on the pressure you put on the pencil. There are also types of pencils, ranging from the hardest tone to the softest. The hardest ones tend to have lesser values and the softest are the opposite. After which, start the contouring of the values. You can put a mark on the area where the highlight is located. Remember that the area opposite to the source of light tend to have darker values. You can use repetition of strokes to make darker tones. You can also use a blending stamp or a tortillon to smoothen out the rough surfaces. Feel free to use an eraser to create the highlight or just erase your mistakes. But I recommend not to get used in having an eraser on your side so you will be able to draw without having to erase every mistake you've made. Now that you know all of this, you can now start to draw a form of your choice. Continue watching the time lapse to learn more about shading.